Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and others, welcome to the 4Foot10 Podcast. I'm your host, Ariel Julie, and I am 4Foot10. And on this podcast, we will be discussing anything related to the 90s, the 2000s, the early to mid 2000s, really anything that I care about pop culture wise. And when I say I mean me specifically. So that movie that you love, probably I've never heard of it and I don't care. So today I'm so excited. I have one of my favorite people in the world. Her name is Kayley Horton. She is a Chicago comedian. She is one of the funniest people I know. And she is also super into the really obscure, weird pop culture stuff that I'm into. So welcome, Kayley.
Thank you. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing this. So today's topic, we will be discussing movies that should be made into musicals. So for all you people out there who inordinately love musicals and 90s
People
and
like
2000s.
that exist? What are you talking about?
I did a show last night in Indiana and I made some joke about I made a joke about this glory hole porn that I accidentally watched, and I was saying how
Accidentally.
I was really high. I didn't mean to. I didn't.
Is that the porn you watched but didn't jerk off to?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I was researching. I was curious. Okay, so I made that joke about how the walls were makeshift and it looked like the barricade from Les Mis. And shockingly enough, that joke did not land in Portage, Indiana.
Yeah.
And this room
There's
full
like
of
four people who even get that reference.
I know.
In the state.
They just looked at me. I was like, oh, like a musical theater reference is not great. But then one guy in the back was like, woo. I'm like, there's one gay guy here. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a gay man.
You could be trans. I would support you.
On the inside. That's what Bob always says. He's like, I'm dating a gay man.
He just wants that to be true. He's just manifesting.
Maybe. Manifesting. He's gay manifesting.
Now
That's
you know.
so stupid.
The more
okay.
you know.
All right. Okay. So, movies that should be made into musicals.
Yeah. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, okay. I want to first talk about the movies that have been, I would say, successfully made into musicals. Now, I don't know how familiar you are. My favorite is Mean Girls. I love Mean Girls, the musical.
I've gone through it. I've listened to the music once. I don't go back and listen to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. It's just it's on the realm of, we'll probably get Legally Blonde. It's of the sense that it's silly and fun, but it's a little too corny for me sometimes.
So I was listening to this musical back a couple years ago when I had a scene beef with someone in the scene.
Yeah.
So I said that they talk too fast on a podcast, and now I'm on a podcast and I stand fucking by it. So I was listening to this Mean Girls
That
soundtrack.
caused beef?
Yeah.
God. Okay. We'll talk later.
Yeah. Yes, it did. But at the time I heard Mean Girls for the first time, and there's that song I'd Rather Be Me, Barrett Wilbur Reed singing the fuck out of I'd Rather Be Me, and she
was in Heathers too, right?
She was.
That bitch cannot stop doing musical adaptations of girly movies.
But that her Heathers soundtrack, that's not the original Heathers soundtrack.
Oh.
Hers is what's the word I want? It's a
remaster.
Kind of.
Re-release?
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Of the Heathers soundtrack, and hers is better. I think hers is
Barrett's
so much better.
Or the original?
Barrett's.
Oh, I love her voice. It's so interesting and
she sounds
throaty.
So in Mean Girls, she sounds exactly like
Is she
Lizzie
Regina?
Kaplan. No, she's
she's Janice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she sounds like Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah.
Who played Janice in the original Mean Girls. She has that same tone of voice. She has that same up here in her nasal, she's a little hyper nasal, but I still love her.
Yeah.
And
I think it adds to the character of her voice.
I agree.
It doesn't take away from it.
I agree.
Me.
Yes. So I was listening to the soundtrack on repeat, yeah, fuck you. I'd rather be me. Raise your right finger. Tell girls should behave. Fuck, so this was my anthem, dude.
Yeah.
So I do love Mean Girls.
I get it. So you have an emotional attachment to it too.
Very much.
Via your anger.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Legally Blonde, the musical, did you ever watch on MTV in the early to mid 2000s? The Legally Blonde, The Search for the Next Elle Woods.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay, I did not watch it when it was airing. I watched it within the last year because my roommate is a freak.
Yeah.
And she watched it when it was airing.
Yes.
And what a hot mess of a masterpiece that show is.
It's so good.
What even is it? What's going on the whole time?
So, first of all the episodes are on YouTube.
Yes, they are.
Which is a sign of a great show.
Yeah.
That premiered 15 years ago. If you can watch all the episodes for free now.
Yeah. You know you nailed it.
You know you're not depressed. You know you're okay.
First of all, I want to think about so explain the concept of the show, and then I have so many questions that you won't be able to answer, but I just need them to be in the universe.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Okay, so Legally Blonde, obviously classic movie. I believe it premiered in 1998, maybe 99, somewhere in there. And Reese Witherspoon plays a sorority sister named Elle Woods, who is dating the perfect man, Warner Huntington III. Mm-hmm. And then he dumps her just right out the gate. We have no idea. He's just kind of a dick. And she decides that the only way to get him back is to get into Harvard, where he's going for law school.
She's so real.
And she just
real.
gets into Harvard, just casually gets into Harvard. And then while she's there, she becomes best friends with Jennifer Coolidge. And she also starts dating Luke Wilson. And she finds out that she's actually a powerhouse lawyer, and she can handle Victor Garner, who is a gay man, hitting on her. And she deals with it, and she wins Allie Larder's lawsuit, a wrongful murder, and she gets Linda Cardellini from Dead to Me, and also Boy Meets World, Lindsay
and
on Boy Meets World, and Scooby-Doo, Velma, right? Yeah. So Linda Cardellini. Well, I'll have a Boy Meets World episode where we talk about
You better have me on.
And that kiss at the ski lodge.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be anyway, okay, we'll get there.
We digress.
So Elle Woods gets all of the people in trouble that she needs to. She falls in love with all the right people, and she becomes this amazing lawyer. This movie was turned into a musical, I would say in the mid 2000s.
Early to mid.
It premiered, so they showed it on MTV, and it was hosted, this special of showing the musical on MTV was hosted by Lauren Conrad, Audrina Patridge, and Whitney.
Just the Hills Girlies.
The Hills Girls.
Yeah, Whitney
Port.
Yes.
Yes. So the Hills Girlies. So this must have been prime Hills.
Yeah, which was what, 2005?
Probably.
Yeah.
A little after that.
After that?
Yeah, because Laguna Beach, I think, premiered in 02 or maybe it was about 04, 05.
In that vein, regardless.
Right around there. So the Legally Blonde musical is the same plot, but we've got a ton of fun and amazing dance numbers, and it makes me happy to my core. And so Legally Blonde, The Search for the Next Elle Woods, is a show that was on MTV. It was a reality competition show. Because Laura Bell Bundy, who played the original Elle Woods on Broadway.
Who was incredible.
Who is incredible. And also, we learned cheated with Christian Borle, who played Emmett, and he
divorced his wife for her.
He divorced Sutton Foster.
Yeah.
Who's
also incredible.
Who also, by the way, is
a machine.
She's in the series finale of Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, just small cameo, but she is in there because she's buddies with Amy Sherman.
That makes sense, yeah. She kind of belongs in there.
Well, she was in the Stars Hollow musical in A Year in the Life Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls will be its own 5-part episode.
Yeah.
That'll be its own whole thing. But she was also in Bunheads, which was Amy Sherman Palladino.
But this show, this Legally Blonde Search for the Next Elle Woods, it's why? I don't understand who at MTV was you know what young hip kids who want to watch music on their TV are going to want to hear? They're going to want to see a bunch of blonde ladies vying to get the role of Elle Woods on Broadway.
First of all, they're children. These girls are children.
They're babies.
They're 21.
Half of them aren't trained, right? Some of them were really good. They clearly are dancers, singers. Some of them were eh.
They're theater majors.
Yeah.
They're fine.
There was an array.
There was. They're basically children, and they are vying for this, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
This Broadway spot.
Yeah. But again, it's who is your marketed audience here?
Do you remember the host was Haley Duff?
Yes.
Not Hillary. Haley Duff.
Oh my God, Haley of Material Girls. Another show that could be a musical.
That was just hey, you remember Paris and Nikki Hilton?
Yeah.
It's that story.
Yeah.
And they did that. There was a Disney Channel original movie that was the same too. It was Bells, Southern Bells, or they were
Cowbells.
Cowbells.
With Allie and AJ.
With Allie and AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, same movie. Yeah. Same plot.
Yeah.
It's White Chicks, but without the weird
White
racism.
Chicks. Write that down. Put that on the list.
White Chicks. We are off topic.
We are off topic. Well, shall we move past Legally Blonde, or do we want to keep...
So the point is, movies that, in my opinion, have successfully been made into musicals. I thought Mean Girls is a really fun soundtrack. I think Legally Blonde is a really fun soundtrack. Also, speaking of Barrett Wilbur-Reed, Beetlejuice. Oh, no, not Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is fun.
I'm sorry, Heathers.
Heathers is amazing.
Heathers is amazing. And then Beetlejuice, which is not Barrett Wilbur-Reed. That's my bad. But also a really fun musical.
Yeah, it's fun.
For
it's
an
fun.
80s music.
Yeah.
And Alex Brightman plays Beetlejuice, and he kills it. Kills it. I like it so much better.
Have you seen any of these shows on stage?
I've seen Legally Blonde, and that's it. Yeah, I was supposed to see a couple, but then the pandemic hit, so I couldn't. But yes, yes, Alex Brightman as Beetlejuice is incredible. I like it so much better than School of Rock. School of Rock, I did not love. I did not love that one, but that does fall into this category.
Be wrong.
Oh, you like it?
I like it. Yeah, again, it's not like my favorite. I'm not like jumping over the moon for it, but I'm like, this is fun. Like, I get what they're doing here.
I just feel like there weren't any good songs.
Yeah, Andrew kind of didn't pop his little wabussy like he usually does.
No,
yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, so you were telling me that Devil Wears Prada has been made into a musical.
Well, I'd seen it I've seen it somewhere. It was happening somewhere, and I feel like that was a musical, and then I looked it up. I've never listened to the music from it though. I can't imagine if two theater dorks who love early 2000s movies didn't know about this musical. I can't imagine it's very good. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's incredible. It opened last summer?
Interesting.
Like a year ago?
Interesting.
Is what it said online.
It is begging to be a musical.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Because every musical we know has truly three acts to it. There's the introduction of like, here's our hero or heroine. Here's like their life as is. And then something happens.
Yeah, there's a change.
Yeah, there's some kind of change to their life or their whatever.
Right.
And then they go on this sort of like hero's journey, like quest to like find who they really are. And then in that journey, they find true love, but they don't realize it yet.
Yeah.
And maybe they're fighting with the true love, or maybe they're like a villain and they're supposed to come together or something, whatever it is. And then by the third act, they like have a come to Jesus moment and they figure out who they really are. And then they, run to the airport or to the train station or, wherever.
Sure. Wherever they're running.
They're
always running somewhere.
They are running.
Why are you running?
I don't know. They're always dressed in heels.
They're always in heels. A movie I just thought about, but I'll put it on the list so that we can talk about it in a moment. That I believe should be a movie, The Holiday.
Oh my God. So that's
a movie I believe should be a musical, rather.
That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole. Well, but I'll write it down for.
I was gonna thank
posterity.
you. I was gonna have an episode with our other producer on Laughter Hours, Mr. Hunter Hirsch, where we debate The Holiday versus Love Actually.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Like which Christmas movie is more problematic.
Yeah. Amazing.
I think.
But there's a scene in the Holiday where she's like gets out of the car like Cameron Diaz realizes she loves Jude Law, and she's like running, and it's like she gets out of a car that's moving towards her destination, and she just starts running there much slower than the car could have gone.
Oh, sure.
And it's like a 3-minute scene of her just running.
She's
through
wearing
snow.
spike heels.
She's wearing spiked heels. She's got like baggage with her.
No, she leaves the baggage in the car.
Does she leave that?
Yeah, she leaves it in the car.
Well, she's in her big coat. She was like hauling
Well, she
ass.
takes the coat off and ties it around her, and then she has the little sweat stain, so we know she's working hard.
And it's like an insane 3-minute scene that you're like, this is so time consuming.
She like stops at one point, and she's like,
yeah, she takes a break because she runs out of air.
And so the craziest thing is when she first drives to this destination, to Rose Hill Cottage.
Yeah,
and the guy,
I love that you know the name of it.
I watch it every year. I love this movie. It's so terrible. Speaking of Jack Black,
so amazing. I love that movie.
Best. So when she first gets there, the guy's like, the driver's like, "Oh, miss, I can never make the turnaround. Are you okay walking from here?" She's like, "No," and then she does. And then at the end, how does he drive up to get her? He drives right up outside the cottage.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's the same driver?
Yeah.
Did anyone else notice that it's the same driver? What are the odds? Okay, we are very off topic. Okay, so these are the movies that have been made into musicals. Legally Blonde, Mean Girls, Heathers, Beetlejuice, Devil Wears Prada, apparently, School of Rock. I also included The Addams Family and Anastasia.
True.
That was made into a musical.
It was.
It was not good.
No?
No, because...
The movie's great.
The movie is fantastic, but for Anastasia, the plot, they changed the villain instead of Rasputin, and then to do that big, like, magical fight sequence at the end, because that's hard to adapt on Broadway.
Yeah.
They made the villain, I think, the KGB. And
That's a choice.
It's this guy who's, like politically against the Romanovs, and he's like there to overthrow them.
Right.
And then he's now been searching for Anya for 10 years, but he doesn't age. So he's still like young and hot because he's a young, hot actor who doesn't age. And so then at the end, he like corners her in Paris. And it's like the most anticlimactic, spoiler alert, don't see this musical. It's the most anticlimactic thing because he's like, I've been searching for you for 10 years. And you're like, are they about to make out?
Yeah.
Because they're both young and hot.
Right.
And then he goes, I got you now. And I think he pulls a gun and she's like, don't. And he's like, okay.
Okay, so interesting.
That's the end of the musical. So didn't love that. Okay, so now we are into movies that should be made into musicals, that have the 3 acts, that have the love story, that have the cheesy, corny moments. And we're going to start with our very favorite. Would you like to do the honors?
I would love to, which is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Obviously.
Like,
why has this not been made into a musical?
Like, we sat down one day and you were like, this should be a musical. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And then we just like thought of 15 easily written songs we could have made about it. Like, we didn't even have to stretch our brains. We're like, this is written to be a musical.
The opening song is obviously called Keep Your Composure because she works at Composure.
You know what would be fun too? If like
going on 30, you're
so
right.
true.
Because also magazine editors.
Yeah.
What are we doing? That makes no
In the
sense.
early 2000s, every girly in a rom-com was like, worked for a magazine, but like wanted to be a serious journalist or artist at some point. And then every dude was just like in advertising. And that's all the tropes for literally half of these that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, Andy Sachs from Devil Wears Prada, Jenna Rink from 13 Going on 30, and Andy Ederson from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Girl.
The How-To Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 3 of them all work for magazines, and they're inexplicably young for the amount of power that they have.
Yeah.
They make they have an inexplicably expensive apartment in New York City.
And they're all in New York City. Yeah, of course.
And they make no money.
Yeah.
At least in Devil Wears Prada, they do acknowledge that they like don't have a lot of money, and she lives with the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Nate.
But you still have like a beautiful loft in like Brooklyn or wherever you are.
Like
like you're doing fine.
They're doing fine.
You're doing fine.
They're really doing fine. But yeah, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. The opening number, obviously, Keep Your Composure. And we've got Andy, and she's this like girl in the big city, and she's like, I'm gonna show my boss.
She's like this beautiful girl. She's like, I don't even know I'm so beautiful, but I'm the sexiest woman you've ever seen in your life.
Watch me eat a burger.
Yeah, but I'm a guy's girl, so I like the Knicks, and I eat burgers.
I love basketball and bacon.
Even though I clearly have an eating disorder.
It's because I'm so skinny. And then she's got her 2 besties.
You know what? I love that for her.
Every trope, there's always 2 besties, except for 13 Going on 30.
And they can never threaten the integrity of like you wanting to fuck the main character. So one of them's always like frumpy, and then one of them's always like kind of like a badass.
Which is crazy because in 13 Going on 30, her 2 besties, one is racially ambiguous and not black, just ambiguous enough to be diverse. And then the other one is Jennifer Hahn, who is not frumpy. Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah. Who's like the most beautiful, funny woman in the world. And you're like, in what world are you ever choosing? With peace and love to Kate Hudson. I love this woman, but Catherine Hahn's there. I'm going for Catherine.
Have you seen her on Parks and Rec as Jennifer Barkley?
I've seen.
Which is my favorite character of all time.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
Of all time?
Of all time. When she's wearing the poncho and she's like, I love my life. My life is amazing.
Well, it was amazing.
Yeah. This is gross.
Well, here's the thing is like they still cast her in those, they just now cast her in the like adult mom versions of those frumpy roles. Like she's always playing these like sexually repressed mothers. She was in the show called like Mrs. Fletcher, where the whole show was basically like her son's going off to college and she's learning to masturbate and like to please herself sexually. And I'm like, that bitch is getting railed. Okay, stop. In what world is Catherine Hahn not getting dick left, right, and center? Like, get real.
She's hilarious and gorgeous and fun fact, also in The Holiday.
Who was she in The Holiday?
In the very beginning, she and
Jim
from The Office, they work.
John
for Cameron
Krasinski.
Diaz.
You're so right. And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, those good. And Lindsay Lohan and James Franco in the intro movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Catherine Hahn is pregnant.
Yeah, you're so right.
I'm guessing she was pregnant in real life. And they're like, well, I guess her character is pregnant, and we just don't mention it. She just is.
She just is.
And we don't mention that Jim from The Office is just here
is
working
there
for Cameron
for
Diaz,
like 2 minutes.
cutting
They're
movie
barely
trailers.
in it.
But she is in it.
Yeah,
and
you're
that's
so right.
important to me.
She's everywhere. She's everything to me.
So how to lose a guy in 10 days. So obviously we have our opening number. I think we definitely have.
Oh, we don't have the list.
I
have
do.
A whole list.
I do. It's on my phone.
Yeah.
I can look it up.
But we have the opening number, and then the plot of the whole thing is like she wants to get more serious with her journalism career. So she
does.
So her boss is like, why don't you make a story about how to lose a guy 10 days? Because Catherine Hahn is her friend who can't keep a guy. So she was like, I'll do this story, and then maybe I'll get more serious articles afterwards.
So that song is called Upbeat. Because remember in the, it's a little scary, but surprisingly upbeat. And that's when she sort of is like, this is like the song about how she's like annoyed that she has to be upbeat all the time, but it's like a kind of clever,
But that's
funny.
what's going to get her what she wants.
Yeah.
It's like her motivation song.
Yes. And she's like staying upbeat, but she's like got these dark thoughts and she wants to be serious, but she's upbeat about it. And so it's like this upbeat kind of catchy song about like really dark stuff that's happening in the world, like Darfur and like genocide and stuff, but it's upbeat. So that's a great song. I have Ben's song ? I don't know what that is, but Ben,
so we need a bro song.
Yeah.
So then the other end of that is that she needs to find a guy that she can like ruin his life, so he'll dump her in 10 days.
Right.
And completely unrelated, this guy Ben, who's at an advertising agency, he needs to get this diamond account, and these like cunty lesbian bitches who they don't say are lesbians, but they're lesbians.
The Judys
are
so clearly lesbians.
They're so gay and they're so hot. It's awesome.
They're great.
But they're like the diamond gals, but he convinces his boss, he's like, I can make a woman fall in love with me, like you can make women fall in love with diamonds.
What's the nickname that they give them? It's like very derogatory. It's like legs and hips or something.
Hips and lips.
Hips and lips.
Hips and lips.
Hips and lips.
Yeah.
The Judys.
Yeah. So sexist. So misogynist.
What?
I love it. I'm so thankful they said it.
Yeah. And one of his writers is Adam Goldberg from the Hebrew Hammer and Dazed and Confused. And, anyway, he was also in A Beautiful Mind. Fun fact.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we need the boys song when the boys rally and the boys are like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna ruin a woman's life.
Absolutely. So we have we're bros and we're stupid, but we're gonna ruin.
It's the bro camp song.
It's the bro camp song. Thank you. And then I have here like a how-to song, which might be.
We can maybe mix that in with the
upbeats,
beginning.
yeah.
Or I was thinking somewhere between composure and upbeat. We can make
maybe.
like a little overture.
Sure.
Something.
Okay. And then reprise it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, because then it's upbeat at the beginning, but then it's depressing later as the plot progresses.
Yes.
And then the Judys definitely have to have a song.
Yeah.
And I literally have on my phone, it says the Judys, they are lesbians. In parentheses.
They are like.
Yeah. So
it's never said, but everybody who watches it is like, oh, they're gay, right?
They're clearly
like,
gay.
Yeah.
Well, in 2023, we have to just like make it a gay anthem of like, we're two lipstick lesbians but we're evil bitches.
We could in the bro camp scene, we could kind of make that the same song in between his two guys that are trying to help him and these two bitches that are trying to destroy whatever he's trying to build.
Yes.
And then you could get the yin and yang.
The yin, that would be fun.
And then we could imply that these guys are gay too, even though they're not.
Okay, I do
canon.
like that. No,
we can make that. Like, we could switch that.
What if
we could make them gay?
No,
in this.
because the shorter one, the one who's in like everything.
Thomas Lennon.
Thank you. I love one of my favorite characters that he does is in I Love You Man. When
it's been a while since I watched that.
He's gay and he goes on a date with Paul Rudd and then he meets him. He runs into him at the suit store and he's like, takes a lot of nerve to like with somebody and never call them again. You're a whore, Peter. You're a whore. You're a whore, Peter. Anyway, so. I love him. But yes.
Yeah.
He talks about in the movie how he and his wife have
couples therapy.
Go to couples therapy?
Couples therapy. It could be between the two dudes. That could be the couples therapist that they refer to later on
That'd be fun.
in this show.
And can we say how amazing of a therapist is Catherine Hahn?
She's so good.
She steals the show.
She's so good.
When she opens the doors with
she's
those
not
glasses.
in that much of the movie. Like but like she's the third main character.
She makes an impact.
Yeah.
Her scenes are so good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got the Judys. Okay. All's fair. Because that's the third question. All's fair in love and war.
And that's when they meet.
That's
the scene when they see each other in the bar.
And that could also be kind of a montage of them meeting and then going back to his place and then going into that first date. And then the big song that I have is Flip the Switch. So Flip the Switch is like we were going from All's Fair and like maybe something about too fast, like we're going too fast because that happened in his apartment. And then she's like this really cool chick, and he's like,
and we could do like a little maybe mini montage of like a date or two they go on in between, like the basketball game.
Yes, where she's like
or the movies.
She's a cool chick.
Yeah,
right. She's a guy. She's
not being
girl.
too crazy yet.
No, not yet.
She's reining it in.
And then, but she does brunch with the ladies, and she's like, today I'm gonna flip the switch. And then this is like a big ensemble number, like all the women who are at this cafe brunching because it's just like a bunch of
we want choreography.
Ladies brunching.
Yeah.
And they all get up, mimosa in hand.
Yeah. I want sun hats.
Yes.
I want like big dresses.
Sundresses, sun hats.
I want nails.
Sunglasses.
I want
pedicures on pedicures on pedicures.
I want mimosas flying.
Yes, flying.
Yeah.
Bottomless.
Yeah. I want people on tables.
Even the wait staff is like getting involved. Like this is our bend and snap.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is our big number. And so all the ladies talk, and it's a song about how every woman in a relationship, gay or straight or what have you, has that moment where the relationship is going kind of good. And you're like, oh, we're getting along really well. Why don't you just like test them a little?
And we could incorporate, I say we as if like we're creating this actively, but in that moment
we
like
actively are creating this.
They and their girlfriend, so Andy and her girlfriends are like talking about it, and then maybe we get asides about other people who are in relationships and who are about to hit that moment, and then we all come together for the
because Andy and her girlfriends are like, how could we flip this? And it's that scene where like, oh, call him at 1 a.m. and tell him everything you had to eat that day. You know, talk about all your ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends, talk about his ex-girlfriend, and then you have other women from the tables chiming in. They're like, oh, you know what I did? I killed his dog.
Yeah. Or somebody's like on the phone and she's like, oh, that's interesting. I did this. Like, just silly.
Yeah, so silly.
Yeah.
Like really funny stuff.
Yeah.
And like it's a big musical number where women are like, we do this.
Yeah.
We are actively psychotic and nuts. And we just want to test you.
And you know what? That's okay because we're all together. Yeah. And we're all being girls together.
We're just a bunch of cats.
Yeah.
We just want to push the glass over and see if you'll dump us. Or if you won't because we're so hot.
Because we look like Kate fucking Hudson.
And that I have as the Act 1 intermission.
That's the closer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Act 1. So we've taken all the way. So all of Act 1 is sort of this setting the premise of like, this is what Andy Anderson, this is who she is, this is her life, this is her job, this is Ben, this is his life, this is his job, these are here's the central conflict, basically. And then they meet, they go on a couple dates, and now it's time to flip the switch. So then Act 2 is just all the crazy. Like all of the shenanigans. So we have...
How are we opening it?
Princess Sophia.
Okay. I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
How do we lead into that?
They're gonna go on a date. So Princess Sophia, if we remember, is the date when he makes the lamb for her.
Yes.
And she, in her moment of brilliance, is like, I ate meat.
Right.
So she brings him to
But she brings the love fern. Or is that later?
No, that's later.
That's later?
Yeah. So she brings him to the vegetarian vegan place, and she's watching the Knicks game in the bathroom, and he's having a terrible time. And then they go back to his place, and because she's been watching the game, he's like watching the highlights, and she's like, I can't believe he misses that shot. And Ben is like, how did you know he was going to miss that shot? And she's like, oh, he always, let's have sex. And so she like distracts him.
She's so cool. She likes the Knicks and she likes sex. She's so real.
She's so cool. And she's like, does Princess Sophia want to come out to play? So that's that scene. So that would be that song.
Okay.
In my mind. And then we could also do a song maybe even before that. My boyfriend thinks I'm fat because she says that at the vegan restaurant.
That's a fun one.
That could be a fun one.
Yeah.
We could do, after that is Love Fern. After that.
Then comes Love Fern.
And that's a whole thing.
It's a whole own thing.
That's a whole thing, and
Yes.
and that's, I don't even know if it's like
what date is the love fern? Does she bring that? Is that when she like? That's not when she makes the thing.
it's when she crashes the poker game.
No, because that's when she finds out it died.
Oh, you're right. You're right. When does she bring
let
it?
it die.
You know
You
what
let
she
us
does?
die.
She brings it to the apartment. You're right. She brings it to the apartment on that day.
The lamb night. Because she brings like a little bin of like girly things.
You're right.
And she like puts them in her little
That's
cabinet.
right. Yes. And she puts the little rug around the toilet.
Right.
And she's like, this is.
But we can change it for the sake of the musical. We can make that the day
true.
of the poker game if we wanted.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, but I like on the poker game when she freaks out that he let it die.
Yeah. We can workshop.
We'll
But there's going to be a love fern
There
song
is a love
regardless.
from song. There's a couple therapy song. Obviously, Catherine Hahn,
Yes.
that character,
Yes.
has a whole big number during couples therapy.
Yes. That's her moment.
That is her moment.
Yeah.
That's like when Karen in Mean Girls has the Halloween song. That's like her one song, and she has to have that song.
There's what should we call it? What do we call it? Rageaholic? What do we?
I don't know. It could be. Rageaholic is good. I don't know.
For context, in the movie, Catherine Hahn's fake therapist calls him a rageaholic. And a gay man. She calls him gay too.
Oh yeah. He goes through a lot. He's like, first I'm gay, now I'm hitting on our therapist. What am I? You've got enough personality. Anyway, okay.
I think Matthew McConaughey, he's great. Like I'm never mad to see him, but he's so good in this specific role, just being a big annoying dumb guy.
He's not even that dumb.
I love it.
What I like about this movie. Okay, this movie is deeper than it seems. Okay. Because what I like about Benjamin Barry's character is that he actually isn't stupid. He is like a young, hot guy, and he is, a little bit of a fuckboy before that was really even a thing.
Yeah.
But
he's very successful, but he's like useless interpersonally.
Yes, but he's not stupid.
Right. That's true. That's true.
He's good at what he does.
That's
he's
true.
good at advertising, and he's good at like turning on his charm. And it's really cool watching Andy straight up gaslight him.
Yeah.
For the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because that his whole thing is that he gaslights women, and he doesn't even realize, because gaslighting wasn't even in the vernacular in 2003 when this movie came out. And so this movie, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, as an article, is literally just a masterclass in gaslighting.
Yeah.
Just like making a guy, like driving him crazy and telling him that he's crazy for thinking that I'm being crazy.
Yeah.
Even though you're actively being crazy on purpose. So I really do feel for Ben. But after couples therapy is when they go to Staten Island, right?
Yeah, so this is the big emotional center of the story.
So I'm thinking the song is called Bullshit, because that's the game that they play in the back with the family. And it starts like this funny kind of, they're playing the game with the family, but then she realizes like all of this is bullshit. Like her whole career has been bullshit. The person she thinks she and this persona of like the hot girl who likes whatever, that's bullshit. What she's doing to Ben is bullshit. And it's like this really deeper meeting. Again, like in Mean Girls, the song "What's Wrong with Me," because that song starts out where what's Lacey? Gretchen Wiener's. Gretchen Wiener's character is like asking Regina, "What's wrong with me? Is it my hair? Is it my nails? Is it my voice? What's wrong with me?" And then later she's like, "Oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I friends with this person?" So it's that dual meaning. So I like that for this bullshit song.
I'm into that.
Yeah. This would be how to reprise, the how-to song reprised, How to Not Fall in Love.
Okay.
And
it's very soft and like delicate and sad.
It's her ballad.
Yeah.
It's like the Legally Blonde.
Do they fuck in this version
I think so.
of the musical?
I think they should.
I feel like a soft allude to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't need anything
tasteful-
grotesque, but I want to like think,
Yeah, a tasteful, like intimate moment has clearly happened.
Yeah.
And then we get to what, in my opinion, is going to be like the single of this musical, which is called "Go Frost Yourself." When after they come home from Staten Island and they go to the Diamond Ball, and obviously all of the truths come out, and everyone's like, "Go frost yourself," and it's like, go fuck yourself. But I think it's very clever.
I like it too.
It's also the theme of the night.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about the fact that like "Go Frost Yourself"? That's what he uses as the diamond pitch that wins him the account.
Which is a really dumb slogan.
Fucking terrible.
It's really terrible.
No woman is buying a diamond because you say "Go frost yourself" or "Frost yourself."
Yeah.
Frost yourself.
Women of New York, frost yourself.
God, the Judys would have nailed that assignment. This movie just proves that men are useless.
They
Even
are.
when men think that they...
I've been doing beer and alcoholic beverages and sports equipment, and I'm ready for diamonds. Here's my pitch. Yeah. Frost yourself like a cake.
That's crazy.
That's the first thing Judy says when he says that. Yeah. He's like, ladies, I'm a
But you know why he gets the account? Because his boss is just a dude who's as staunchy as he is, and is like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, the boss is
Women will love this.
Yeah, he's like, oh, hey, Ben, I talked to Kate Hudson, who is in love with you. So frost yourself will be.
She doesn't even admit she's in love with him. She just goes,
I can't.
Please don't tell him.
Don't tell him. You can't.
So she doesn't even admit it. He doesn't even get confirmation. Yeah. Ben gets the thing.
And
God.
Who is he to be like, I can tell when a woman's in love? Who the fuck are you?
This is what I'm saying.
We don't even meet his wife.
This movie is about male hubris. And that's why I love it.
That's why it needs to be a musical.
Exactly.
Because you know that when you cast it, it's going to be all gay men who audition for these roles.
Oh, for sure. But they'll be like sexy gay men, so it's okay.
Sexy. All right, so Go Frost Yourself is like the big clincher. Like the Judys will be singing Go Frost Yourself to Ben's two sidekicks.
They will.
Ben and obviously Andy will be singing Go Frost Yourself to each other. Maybe even Ben's boss and Andy's boss will have like a Go Frost Yourself moment.
Oh, that could be fun.
That would be fun. And so it's just like this big all-out epic like finale. Like
and angry.
This is Mean Girls' I'd Rather Be Me. Like it's the big come to Jesus, frost yourself, and it's cathartic. And we need that. And then after Go Frost Yourself, we have another ballad. You can't lose what you never had. And then Andy's introspective, Ben is introspective, and
this is making me want to watch that movie. And I watched it. We watched it together.
I watched it.
Oh, we didn't. We watched Overboard together.
But I watched it like a week ago. No. Yeah. And then the final song when he chases her down is, I have it as Love Fern reprised.
Yeah, I like that. I think we can get a little more specific, but I like the idea that he brings the dead Love Fern.
Yes. Yeah, because he does. In his helmet.
I've been thinking of getting a Love Fern tattoo. That's his Love Fern. I think it'd be really funny. Do you want to get that with me?
I do. Should it just say Love Fern, or should it be like a picture of a dead fern?
No, I want a dead fern, and then I want Love Fern under. So like people are like, oh, it's the Love Fern, and they're just like, why you have a dead tree on you?
I kind of want to just have a dead tree on me.
You just want the dead tree?
Kind of.
Get what you want to get.
Get what you want to get.
Yeah. But we'll get it.
Well, we were gonna have a Smash tattoo. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, but like. Do I want Teresa Rebeck to have that kind of power over me?
We'll get to Smash. That's a whole different podcast. All right, that's a whole different episode. Okay, so that's How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, the musical.
We've barely thought about this, if you couldn't tell. It's like barely crossed our minds.
We're going to write this. We have to. Yeah. That's a great idea for a musical.
It's so good.
Objectively, that will be
I'm shocked it hasn't been made or isn't in the works currently.
I don't, yeah.
Because it would just be money in your pockets. And every girl would go see it.
I would go see it.
Every girl would go see it.
It's a great...
And they'd bring their boyfriends.
Well, and the best
And their boyfriends would pretend they hate it, but like kind of like it.
And they would kind of like it.
Yeah.
The best part about all of these movies that should be made into musicals is that you don't even have to see the musical. If you've seen the movie, you know what the plot is. So you can just listen to the soundtrack and enjoy it because you already know what's happening.
Right.
You know where it's going and what's going to happen. And you could just enjoy the music.
Yeah.
It's great. How are we doing on time?
You're at 37 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're crushing it.
Yeah. Do you love this, Justin?
It's great.
Do you watch...
Exactly your interest,
right?
Do
you watch rom-coms or musicals?
I mean, as like a teen.
Okay. So what do you think? Would you go to see How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, the musical written by Ariel Julie and Kayley Horton?
Of course.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, we got a straight guy's opinion. That's what we needed. Okay. So we have a whole list. So what's another movie that should be made into a musical? We've thought about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days before, obviously.
Yes, this has been thought out. You just wrote, and we've talked about, I think before too, 13 Going on 30.
That would be a great musical.
Another classic, early 2000s rom-com. Every girl, it's like one of their favorite movies is either How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or 13 Going on 30. Like that's most girls' favorite rom-coms, I would say.
I rewatched it recently, 13 Going on 30.
Yeah, it holds up.
It really does.
It's great. Mark Ruffalo. What an actor.
So precious.
So amazing. And I feel like he would be really easy, that character would be really easy to cast on stage because all you need is somebody that's endearing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is his main quality.
That's the whole thing.
Endearing.
And then you just get a hot woman.
Yeah.
Who can sing, who's like kind of innocent.
Yeah.
Who has some innocence to her. I do think for the musical adaptation of this, we should not have the 13-year-old in a 30s body kissing a grown man. I don't think it would play well.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it in the movie because I think it isn't creepy. They do it in a very like nice way that's not weird and creepy.
They're very, you know what? That is something that I hadn't even really thought about because they do such a good job with the casting.
It's very thoughtful.
It is very thoughtful. It is just one like innocent kiss. And it is kind of the way that two 13-year-olds would experience their first kiss. And fun fact, here's an Easter egg for you. Their first kiss after they jump off the swings, when he like rolls on top of her, right, and then they kiss. And then when she's back in the closet at the very end of the movie, and she takes off the blindfold,
she jumps on him like that
and kisses him.
Yeah, that's
so
cute.
Their first kiss is like one of them.
Yeah,
and the other.
Or let's make it a cheek kiss or something. Do you know what I mean? For when she's a child.
Yeah, I mean it could be, or an almost kiss.
Yeah,
like they're this close, but then it's like I don't know. For some reason, I feel like I shouldn't.
Yeah, he's like.
Maybe it's because you're a 13-year-old.
A literal baby in a grown woman's body.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that.
Okay, to be fair, though, that movie is so on point because I personally, and a lot of girlies that I know, feel like we are all 15-year-old girls in women's bodies.
Yes.
And we're like, I am not grown enough for this.
Right.
And I think that's like how most women are. And the movie does a really lovely job of like showing the like innocence of like girlhood and being a woman.
Yes. But let's talk about that sleepover where somehow 12 different moms agreed to let their 13-year-old daughters just sleep over at this like grown-ass lady's apartment.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that.
How?
And is it Aaliyah Shawkat that is the little girl, or am I making that up?
No,
okay, it's not her.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
I love her.
But it's that other girl.
She's like
I know who I'm thinking. Yeah, it's
It's not a big deal. But yes, she befriends the girl in the elevator.
She befriends a child, and she is a child, but she's just in a woman's body.
Right. And she asks a literal, actual underage child if she can tell if she's wearing any underwear.
Right.
Which, because she totally is.
Right.
And that's actually such a moment where you're like, if you want to make it problematic, you can. But technically, it's not.
Well, it's so like you said, thoughtfully written that it's like none of this feels weird at all.
No.
This just feels actually like how this would happen.
If you were a 13-year-old girl, like randomly transported into a grown woman's body, you would still be like mentally 13.
Yeah.
And you would still be like, what is a thong?
Yeah.
What? This is nuts.
Exactly.
But, you know, in and of itself, because this young girl does not know that this is a 13-year-old girl trapped in a woman's body. And she's like, I have these incredible boobs. Can you tell I'm wearing underwear?
Yeah.
Like there's it's a little.
Yeah. But just would lead into such a musical so easily. You could have a song about Razzles, which is just about childhood.
That would be cute.
You know?
Yeah. Like there would be a bunch of 80s stuff, which is great. Because I think actually, you could keep it in the era, like, because at the time that it was made, she would have been 13 in 1986 or 7, I calculated, and then she's 30 in like the early 2000s. You could move up the timeline and make her a 13-year-old in the 90s, and then make her a 30-year-old.
Oh, I was thinking you could even make it modern if you wanted to, like where she was. It's like when she was 13 in like 2007 or something.
Well, I was 13 in 2003.
Yeah,
which is like Laguna Beach and like that whole like MTV Legally Blonde the musical.
I think it works. I don't think anything would be taken away from doing it that way.
Yeah, you could do it.
I mean, the different timepieces are like fun, but like, I think the nostalgia of the early 2000s would be just as meaningful to the storyline.
I think it could be.
Yeah.
Or you keep it a period piece and keep it in the 80s.
Yeah. Either way, it's fun.
Which is what Heathers did. Yeah. Heathers and kind of Beetlejuice, they kept it very much in the 80s and made it a period piece, which I think really, adds to it because like 80s nostalgia, really fun, and they can make all these like obscure references. But I don't know, a millennial piece, that could be fun to update it too. They could both be fun. But there's like a dance sequence. There's already a dance sequence at that party, at the Poise.
Yeah, it's Thriller, right?
It is Thriller.
They're doing Thriller.
And so there's no way we could do Thriller because
but you can have a Thriller adjacent type song written for it.
Yeah. Or you just write a new song that's some big musical number, whatever it is. But yeah, what is it with magazine publishing in New York?
It was and I feel like before that era of like the early 2000s magazine publisher, it was before that it was like Food Critic.
Okay.
That was a big thing in rom-coms for a while.
All right, so
or party planning.
Here's my question for you.
Okay. Oh, I'm nervous.
Okay. So let's say you are at a magazine stand.
I'm at a magazine stand.
And you could read.
Oh, no.
Poise.
Right.
Composure.
Right.
or Runway? Which magazine?
Runway is the Devil Wears Prada magazine?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I am reading
Which magazine are you picking up?
Poise.
Poise.
For the drama.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels like the most gossipy to me.
Okay.
And that's why I'm buying magazines if I'm buying magazines.
I feel like, I feel like to the equivalent, I feel like Composure is basically like a Cosmo. Mm-hmm. Like a Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, and I don't give a fuck about Cosmo, personally.
Okay. I used to read them every month, and I would save them because in my mind I'm gonna like use the recipes and the tips.
Sure.
And I never did.
Sure.
But I was like very into Cosmo for a minute, and then Runway I feel like is supposed to be like a Vogue.
Runway is like a Vogue,
Or
right?
like a Vanity Fair.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
like a higher end fashion magazine.
That I'm going to Runway if I'm interested, if there's like a fashion show, right? If
Sure.
like the models are all in Milan and I want to see what's on the runway, I'm obviously going to pick that one.
Sure.
But like if I'm in a grocery store and I'm buying groceries and I'm like, ooh, I get to pick a magazine for like a flight, I'm going with Poise personally.
So which one is Poise equivalent to?
Poise is like an insider.
Oh.
Or something like that.
Or People.
A People.
Okay.
Like where like most of the gossip is fake, but it's still fun because we get like paparazzi shots.
Yeah. I feel like maybe
And they're, like-
Poise even wanted to be like a Cosmo, but Composure did it better.
Yeah. What are you picking? Are you picking Composure?
I think I would pick Composure.
Yeah.
Because Poise feels like it's a little too corny for me, and Runway is a little too high end for me personally. Like I'm a lumpy blue sweater kind of girl. Like those two belts look the same to me.
Like
too.
you're gonna go home and read Composure with your cat, and then you're gonna like go on Zillow.
First of all, Wilma would love Composure.
I'm not saying negatively. I'm saying that's like the vibe, right? Like, and then you're gonna like go on Zillow and you're gonna like look at houses, and that's the vibe.
Yeah, totally. Because I would use it for decorating tips.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
There's always a home decor
Exactly.
section in the back, like how to feng shui your apartment. That's Composure.
Yeah.
That was one of
That's
our things.
Composure.
That's Composure.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I think we're just about out of time here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the last one that I will do, I think. Okay. I think it's very obvious that She's All That could be a musical. I think Never Been Kissed could be a musical. You wrote Just My Luck. That's a Lindsay Lohan one, right?
With
I
Chris
could see-
Pine.
And Chris. Oh. Really? Chris Pine.
Chris Pine and James Marsden, both underrated leads. 27 Dresses could be another one. We're just
Thank
listing rom-coms of the era
Dude.
at this point, but they
Yeah.
all could be musicals
But
very easily.
have we noticed how James Marsden gets the fucking shat on in every musical he's in? In 27 Dresses, he plays a guy whose wife left him for his best friend. In Enchanted, Giselle leaves him for Patrick Dempsey.
He does get left a
In
lot.
Strange Behavior, which is a very deep cut, all of his friends get hypnotized or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's in love with Katie Holmes, but then they get her too.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
what else is he?
And it's
in?
like, why are we not making him the leading man? Like, this is a
the
dashing
leading
gentleman.
man. He's the
He's
leading man
like
in
the
27
leading silly
Dresses.
guy.
He's a lady.
They don't make him like debonair though, and it's like, put this man in a suit.
It's because he's so short.
Yeah, I guess.
But that's one of my favorite
I
parts
love a
about
short king.
27 Dresses is that he's a whole foot shorter than Catherine.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Okay. I think a black sheep in this, and we'll end it here. I think Liar Liar would be a really fun musical. Because you could get like
Which you just came up with when I came in
silly-
here. You were like,
Yeah.
oh, liar, liar.
That would be fun. Well, Prime
Yeah.
recommended it to me.
But
the
you
other
would
night.
need, it's excellent.
Yeah.
But you would need such a powerhouse lead to like even have anything close to what Jim Carrey was doing on
But I bet
screen.
Alex Brightman could do that.
That's true. Like there's a few that could do it, but you would need to get one of those. If
Yes.
you have a flop, this musical is lasting 2 months and it's off.
Because, well, the thing about Liar Liar is that it would be part rom-com, because there is like a love story.
And part court drama.
And part court
Yeah,
drama.
yeah.
With a lot of physical activity. And then there's like his boss that he sleeps with.
Yeah.
And then there's the Jennifer Tilly character. Like there's a lot of fun. And then obviously the mom and then the kid. And like there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of zhuzh.
Yeah,
that you can
I agree.
do.
There's a lot of silly stuff
There's
you could really do
it's
that.
a very silly musical.
I feel like it would be like a long musical, but I wouldn't care. I would be happy. It would be like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it would be very silly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's movies that we think should be musicals.
And we're right.
And we are unquestionably right. So one day we will write these. Maybe I'll make an email address or write in the comments because we're going to post this.
Yeah.
So write in the comments if you loved anything we talked about, if we mentioned something that you're like, I want you to talk more about that, or bring up another movie that we have not thought of, and we'll have another episode.
And if you disagree with any of our opinions, write it and then delete it.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
At all.
So true.
All right. That's been the 4Foot10 podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Ariel Julie.
I'm Kayley Horton.
Kayley, do you want to plug your socials?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm Kayley Drinks Milk, Kayley Drinks Milk. There's no joke there. I just like milk. Yeah.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Ariel Julie Comedy or linktree.com/Ariel Julie. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.